Hello, everyone. Welcome. One day I will do a smooth transition.
No, you
Today
won't.
is not that day.
Lie to us.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Follow Black Cat and Blood and Sand, our brand new Song of Ice and Fire RPG. I'm joined today by three lovely folks down here to my right. We have the lovely Tom. Hi, Tom.
Hello.
You all right?
You all right?
Yeah.
I'm fine. Yeah. See, you have just got a picture of the quintessential British conversation starter,
Mm-hmm.
where someone says, "Are you all right?" at the same time.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Yep.
how it works.
And the answer is never really supposed to be no.
It's not
actually,
even
I'm not,
like
no.
how are you? It's not how are you.
No.
It's
all right.
Yeah. All right. That's it.
Yep.
This is a cultural exchange on the internet.
We're teaching you what it's like to be British. Yeah.
Yep.
What have you been up to this week?
Work. I have been putting in a bed of flowers. Multiple beds of flowers, and my back is in pieces. So I worry that if I bend over one more time, then that would be it. Yeah, maybe. Get that image. Yeah.
Tom has blown his back out by working the bed too hard.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Just let that hang there.
Just gonna let that one sit for a minute.
Yeah, well.
We're sitting in it. We're sitting in it.
Getting comfy.
Yep.
You know.
Okay. All right. You excited for
Really,
this?
You look like you're gonna burst. Is there anything else you need to know from me?
I think after that I was gonna be like, you excited for this week? You got any plans for Garamond?
I'm always excited about this week. Yeah, I'm always excited. It's good to be back. Okay. For Garamond. I suppose I got plans for it. Survive this visit is the plan. The family without make a complete arse of themselves, which is quite difficult with these two right here. Absolute disaster children.
You what me, Amelia Tyler?
Rude.
Be fine. Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck. Because you're having a royal visit. So that's gonna go well.
Yep.
I see.
Only one of they're both hungover.
Yes, they both are hungover.
That's even better. Okay.
So speaking of hungover disasters, hi Millie. You all right?
Genuinely didn't know which one of us that
could
was going to go to.
Could have been either of you.
That's part of the fun, right?
Yep.
Hi, I am fine. I'm not actually hungover and I'm drinking water like a sensible person. Boring.
Disgusting.
That's it. I have nothing to add. I'm sure today will go really well and there won't be any drama and we won't cause any trouble and there definitely won't be any more knife and or whip fights.
Don't believe you.
You are a wise woman.
It's never been said about me, but I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you, Millie. You got anything you can talk about you've been up to this week?
No, of course not.
No.
Of course not. No, I have been up to things. I cannot talk about any of them. But a couple of them are pretty fucking cool, so maybe at some point. Who knows?
I look forward to finding out in 3 years' time.
Yeah, it's about that.
Well, thank you very much, Millie.
All right. Oh no, I assembled a cat tree. There you go.
Oh shit!
You can't see it. Like that's the edge of it. There you go. That's the most exciting thing I can actually tell you about. So a cat can sit next to me and demand my attention while I'm trying to do something else.
You should have led with that.
Person with ADHD is a great idea.
God damn. You should have led with that one, Millie. God damn. All right.
Lead with the cat tree. Got it.
Cat
Next
tree.
time.
V, hello. You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. See, again, the British exchange.
Yeah.
Just the only acceptable response to that question.
Yeah. I don't know how fucking Sam did this every week without it sounding like, you all right? Yeah, you all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what we're all like in real life, by the way. If anyone's wondering what conversation starters look like, it's just this for like 10 minutes until somebody's like, so I did a thing.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this week. I'm sure
Mhm.
that Millie and I will get into absolutely no trouble together. Absolutely not. I don't know what's worse, like Mara and Nymeria trying to kill each other constantly, or the possibility that Millie and I might actually work together in this campaign to cause chaos.
I'm
Not.
afraid. I'm a little bit
That's
afraid.
called range.
Yeah, right? But yeah, no, I've been living in adulting purgatory all week while preparing to move, because it turns out that renting things is hard, and
Mhm.
furniture is really expensive.
Mhm.
Why? Why is it so expensive? Why? What are these markup prices? But otherwise, it's just been work and adulting, and not enough playing video games, in my opinion. But there we are.
All right. Well, thank you very much, V. As for me, I have just about returned back to normal after being away for Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving. Getting very, very full of turkey and pumpkin pie. It's good times. And now I've come back to the crushing hard reality of not being in Thanksgiving foodland, and it's painful. So I'm going to take out my pain on my lovely friends today. But thank you, everyone, for the follows, for the raids, for the resubs just before we get started. And thank you, everybody, for turning out last week. We had a fantastic premiere, and I had a great time. And I hope everybody else had a great time, too. Thanks for all the lovely comments you've been leaving on our YouTube, which, by the way, if you missed the first episode, you can catch on our YouTube, which is youtube.com/Black Cats Gaming. We also have After the Fire on there, which is our previous campaign wherein I played the lovely, sweet, innocent Lady Nymeria Ironwood, who never did a thing wrong in her life and was tragically murdered before her time. And these people assembled here were some of the scummiest people I've ever seen in Westeros. So,
Excuse me.
That's not fair. Faye was okay.
she was all right.
Thank you. That's the reason I am playing such a bitch now.
I'm not offended for
2
me, by the way.
seasons of
Mara was awful.
frustration.
I'm offended for Millie and Tom. Just so you know.
I couldn't not. Fucking Enzo was scummy. Don't even tell me. He was a fucking pirate. He was a pirate.
Ooh.
There's no good pirate.
Wow. Sorry, what was your score in lying again?
My score in lying with deception with
No,
Enzo.
I was talking to Susie.
Oh, Susie
I don't know what you're talking
you
about.
had a pretty
Yeah, I think
high.
we
I
should compare
remember
those.
that.
I didn't have the treacherous tray or anything. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do treason and regicide twice. Anyway.
Twice. It's funny because it's true.
God, all right. Shall we get on with this campaign, which maybe has less treason in it? We don't know yet.
The night is still young.
All right. Okay.
Like after dinner treason.
We will start with a knight. Not a young knight, but a knight. Sagaramond.
Okay.
You are leading Nyla and Elara back to Stonewell Keep.
Oh, yeah.
After that whole missing persons hunt for Nyla, after she snuck out and ended up, in a fisherman's daughter.
2 silvers.
2 silvers. You can see behind you the procession, and you recognize, being a knight, you recognize the heraldry. You see the banners of House Nymeros Martell, the flaming sun pierced by a spear. You see a flag of House Santagar, which is a leopard on blue. You see the flag of House Ulla, which is red flames on a golden field, as well as the sigil of House Dolt, a purple field with lemons, golden lemons on the front. The procession is moving at a steady clip, but as it's entering sort of town limits, it has slowed down somewhat. And you can see a lot of the small folk now are really starting to pay attention. They're coming out, they're standing in the streets. There's a mixture of expressions, which you've come to expect, having been here for some years. The Dornish are not quite as receptive to the Rhoynar, especially noble classes. They do their part to generalize. They do their part to not be outwardly hostile, but they aren't as perhaps as overtly welcoming as the Rhoynar that live alongside them. And so you can see that here in these streets. So you see a couple of the Rhoynar folk, they bow as the carriage bearing the mark of House Martell rides past, and some of the Rhoynar you see exchange glances. One of them spits at the ground as the carriage passes, and one of the guards escorting the carriage kind of gives them a look, and they have the hand on the pommel of their sword, but they don't do anything. They just give them that, like, I see you, look. What would you like to do?
Okay. How far away are we from the castle?
I would say that you are basically on the other side of town, so you've got to go through the whole town to get to your keep. There's quite a trek to get there.
Okay. Is there... Okay. If we, like, full-on gallops back to the castle, could I guess that maybe we would make it in time?
You would, yeah, you could gallop there. You would beat the procession. It wouldn't be like hours head start, but you would have maybe half an hour to an hour head start of the procession.
Okay, that's good enough. So I'm gonna head up because obviously I got Nyla and Ilara next to me along with Win.
I would say actually, as you turn around to regard them, Win has slipped away.
That doesn't surprise me one bit. Yeah. Garamond's gonna go up to them both and nod his head. He goes, "My ladies, I think we should head to the castle as quickly as we can. Perhaps a little competition. Let's see how fast you sandsteeds really are." He's going to kick his courser and just go as quick as he can through back to the castle.
Is it just me, or has he forgotten the state we're both in?
Oh, no. I think he remembers the state that we are both in and probably finds this slightly amusing. But to be fair, I'm trying to debate what is worse. Getting caught up with the procession and dealing with that mess, or seeing what our mother is going to say when she sees the state that we are both in.
It's
Perhaps if
very
we get
true.
back quick enough, we can get changed and hide some of the bags under our eyes and the smell of wine.
And it would never do to let him win.
No.
Alternatively, and she'll just kick her horse as quickly as possible, blast off and get a head start.
I don't think Nyla misses a beat in doing the same.
All right. So you speed through town, and are you taking care to... so the roads are obviously getting busier and busier with the festival. Are you taking care to avoid people, or are you just plowing straight through?
I mean, I'm taking somewhat care for myself, yes. You know, I am a rider. I have ridden horses before, so I can probably be a bit nippy inside and out and stuff. But I wouldn't willingly run someone over. No, I would stop if there were people in the way.
Okay, I was just checking.
I'm just hoping people are smart enough of a big coursier horse pelting towards them that they would get out of the way.
Yeah, and I mean, with a courser being, you know, a bigger horse than a sandsteed, its hooves thunder down the streets, which aren't, you know, cobbled or paved. These are like, you know, beaten down just through hundreds of years of people walking them. The horses thunder, and you see like children sort of playing, and then they spot the horse and dash out of the way. You know, a father grabs a little toddler that's like, "Ooh, pony!" You're like, does that, like dad grab, like, fucking get back here.
Yeah.
So okay, you make your way through. I mean, I imagine you're calling out as well to make way.
Oh yeah, I'm saying make way.
Okay. So you eventually make your way through town. It's a little slower than you'd expected because it's just so congested with the festival, and you hit a road at one point that is just chock full of people. They have placed tables down the middle of this street, and they're starting to lay out, breads and food. You leap.
Yes. Fucking go.
All right, Tom, I'm gonna need you to make me a test on this one.
Okay.
It's gonna be animal handling ride.
Okay. I'm gonna use a bonus dice.
Okay.
20.
Oh jeez. Okay. All right. I see you.
Yeah.
So you leap the table, and some folks cheer. They think this is part of the proceedings. They think this is an act. They are cheering, jeering. Some are upset. There is a woman who yells after you. She calls you all sorts of manner of very unpleasant names in Dornish. So you may not.
Was she selling cabbages?
Yes.
Yeah,
for comedy's sake, she yells out, "My cabbages!" in Dornish.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Alara and Nyla, up ahead, you see Sigaramond jump this table.
Uh-huh.
I feel like Nyla, as we're coming up to this, looks over at Elara with that look of like, we're gonna jump the table. Like,
yeah, I'd imagine they're kind of like shoulder to shoulder at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Elara will just grin.
Nyla grins back. I feel like this is the thing that they do. Where it's just like, we're making bad decisions together.
Yay!
And I think as we get to the table, just in an attempt to maybe clear some people out of the way, because Nyla knows we're being idiots, we'll just shout out, "Make way for the daughters of House Kavos," in the hopes that people kind of clear.
Oh, subtle.
Oh.
Yeah, no, why
we
not?
are in so much trouble.
Talk about PR disaster.
If we clear it, it's going to be great.
Okay, this is going to be Formidable 12. This is the middle of a festival. This is a feast table.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you, Alara, you have 2 bonus dice.
Yep.
I
am going to need them.
Does V have no bonus dice?
Nope, I have none.
Oh no.
Trouble.
Cool. Is this like with zombies? All I have to do is jump the table better than her?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go with that. Is this animal handling? Ride, is it?
Yes, animal handling ride.
God.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, I'm so fucked.
So Nyla, you managed to clear it without any difficulty.
Have faith, Millie. Have faith.
Come on, Millie. You've got dice. You can use them.
Do I want to, though?
Yeah,
you really want to stack it over a table with a horse?
That's what I'm worried about with you, Millie. Do you actually want to succeed?
Look, you saw her roll. Let's find out. Go. Oh.
Ooh. Okay. So, Nyla and Alara, you are shoulder to shoulder. You give each other that conspiratorial little look, that little wink before you decide to both jump the table at the same time. People have cleared as Nyla shouted, "Make way for the daughters of House Kavos." And you both clear it in one easy jump. Your horses easily pick up their feet. Their gait is beautiful. It's textbook. If this was a horse jumping competition, you'd knock it out of the park. And you both land comfortably and safely on the other side of the horse without a stop in the gait of the horse. Just carries on smoothly. Behind you, there's a fucking commotion. People are kicking off. Kids are screaming. Women are screaming. Dudes are screaming. Like, it's all happening behind you. But you press on. Good God.
I think Nyla takes a moment to kind of like lean down, stroking the side of her horse, and that kind of like, yeah, you did good, buddy. Just looks over at Alara and just fucking laughs her head off. If we're going to be in trouble, we might as well be in trouble and do some cool shit on the way.
Eyes on the road.
So, Garamond, you see behind you, you see Nyla and Alara just having a great time, laughing amongst themselves. There's no injuries, there's no blood, no broken bones.
He'll smile, give himself a little smirk and a chuckle, and kick the horse even harder to get to the castle.
Okay. So before long, you arrive at the castle. Guards are posted at the gate, more than you remember when you set out. And then they're all in their sort of like parade best. They're all in the shiniest armor. Tabards are, pristine. There's not a hint of dust or dirt on them. There are no stains. They're stood there at parade rest, ready and waiting. Shining armor, spears posted up and ready. They see you and they recognize you. They don't challenge you. They give you a nod as you pass.
Okay. Do I see, because I would imagine that the castle already knows that the procession is here and is probably heading its way. Do I see Lady for goodness sake,
Soraya
out there waiting already with her retinue?
So as you pull into, there's a sort of like courtyard through the immediate gates of Stormwale. As you pull into that courtyard, you don't see Lady Soraya just yet, but you can see that there are a couple of servants who are constructing a sort of shelter from the sun as we're approaching midday. So it's like a little pavilion they're constructing.
Okay. In that case, Garamond will immediately head to the closest stable. And even without even stopping, he's kind of already dismounting, kind of like in a swift movement, and he hands the reins over to a stable boy or something. And he says, take care of duty. The ladies of the house will be coming shortly. Look after theirs. And he'll head on over and he'll I'm not sure if there are any like he'll go to another servant and he'll say, find the ladies maids of the daughters and make sure that they're ready to come.
And this servant's a young lad, 12, 13 at the most. He looks about himself and he looks past you to Lady Nyla and Alara as they're riding in, and he has this look on his face, like his eyes sort of grow wide for a bit as he sees the state they're in before he just takes off running.
At that point, he will probably head on over to Lara and Nyla and get ready to help them down, should they want any help. And he will kind of may I suggest that you go and get ready to present yourself to our visitors, ladies.
Alara will kind of jump down, sort of using his shoulders rather than his arms, and wait to see Nyla land.
Nyla gets off the horse with a little bit of the kind of acrobatic twirl that she has, even in this kind of state. Stumbles a little bit, but probably not too horribly. Hands the horse over to, the stable boys that have come up, and probably tells them to give both of them a good brush down because we've ridden pretty hard to get here. And jokingly looks at Sir Garamond and says, What is wrong with how I am dressed? Everybody else is in armor.
Milady, if you wish to quell the anger of your mother, I suggest that you go get ready. It will work out better for you in the long run.
You are wise. I like you. She pats him on the shoulder and kind of waits for Ilara so they can both head in together.
You still smell of fish. Race you. And she'll just push off of Nyla.
Nyla does the races after her. It's like I get the feeling it just looks like two 8-year-olds still chasing each other around a castle courtyard. That kind of energy.
And as Garamond sees them run off into the thing, he'll look. Okay, and then he'll immediately turn and head. What he would may assume where Lady. Oh my God! One of these days I'll remember her name.
Soraya.
Soraya. My goodness, Lady Soraya could potentially be, because he wants to essentially, when they arrive, he wants to be beside her because he is kind of like her bodyguard in a sense. So he'll head immediately to her.
Okay, you flag down a servant, ask where the lady of the house is, and they tell her she's in her chambers. She's just finishing up, getting ready for the reception.
I'll head straight there.
You arrive. Her door is shut.
I'll knock.
With a gentle knock, you hear her say, "Come in."
I'll open and just enter. Milady, apologies for the lateness, but I have found your two daughters, and they will be ready when your visitors arrive.
And you see, she sat at a what we would sort of call like a vanity these days. You know, it's like a table in her rooms. There's like a bronzed mirror. So a piece of bronze which has been buffed to a shine that's in front of her, and she is applying some makeup to her face. Some eye makeup with like kohl she's doing around her eyes. And you can see her hand is her right hand that she's using to do so isn't steady. And she's kind of, she's shaking as she's trying to do this delicate line. She stops, she pauses, she puts the kohl down, she flexes her hand a little bit before she picks it up and tries again.
Forgive me, my lady, but would you like a handmaiden to help you with that?
No, they never get it right. I've been doing this for, gods know how many years now.
I'm a lady.
Tell me,
Still,
Sir Garamond, what condition are my daughters in?
they will be suitable. They will be suitable for the visit, my lady. Maybe slightly sore heads, but they will do their duty.
I hope so. The princess is coming.
I see. Forgive me, my lady, but is there any particular reason for their visit?
No, there is. She's coming to broker a marriage for Nyla.
See. Who will be the lord who will marry her, my lady?
Darren Santagar.
I see. Yeah. I've never met a man. I assume is a good match.
I've never met him either, but it is what the princess commands.
Well, we must all do our duty,
We
lady.
must.
Is there any other matters that I should take care of in terms of this visit?
Make sure that nothing happens while they're here. I'm not a fool, I'm not blind to what is happening in the town. I know we're not exactly welcome here by some people.
Maybe slightly less so after this morning, my lady.
You see her as she's finishing up a line under her eye. She pauses. she places the coal down in very particular manner. She very puts it down, places both her hands on the vanity cabinet, closes her eyes. What did they do?
I was forced to draw my blade in the town where some locals threw insults at Lady Alara, milady. Nothing too bad. They were fine. No one was killed. Just a harsh lesson for some local fishermen, milady.
I see. Tell me, who instigated the violence?
One of the locals insulted Lady Alara, lady.
Hmm.
And then it escalated from there.
An insult is not violence, Sir Garamond.
No,
Who
milady.
started the fight?
It was the Lady Alara. The lady, she drew her whip and, well, it escalated further from there. It lasted no more than a few seconds, but, well, it won't happen again.
You hear her tut, like under her breath, and she nods. I hope, Sir Garamond, when I send you with my daughters, that nothing like this happens again.
You have my word, my lady. Nothing like this would happen again.
Good. All right. Well, we should make our way down. The procession will be here soon, no doubt.
They were close behind our heels.
And she goes to pick up a beaded sort of necklace that's resting on the vanity. She puts it around her neck, and she sort of fumbles with the clasp at the back. She doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
She's there. She's that kind of woman. She's too proud to like ask for help,
Yeah.
so she's fucking around with it.
He'll step forward, and he'll offer his hand. He goes, "If I may."
And she nods.
He'll kind of, because he's still wearing full chains, so he's kind of, and he'll kind of put it round her and tie it to the back, and make sure there's no creases as well. Just make sure everything's all okay. And he'll step back, and you look beautiful, my lady.
Thank you, Sir Garamond. You know, there was a time when I would make Reza do this for me, but... And she looks down. Still, and she sort of straightens up her dress. Shall we?
After you, my lady.
And she steps out into the hallway, and doing so, she passes Nyla and Alara. She looks you both up and down, and there is a look of disappointment, hurt, anger, and a tiny little bit of disgust. And she looks you up and down and continues to walk down the corridor. She doesn't say a word to you.
She is going to shout at us later.
She is going to do more than shout.
You know, from what Sir Garamond says, the Vale sounds very nice this time of year. We could take a trip.
The Vale, or maybe somewhere further
Across
away.
the narrow sea.
Mm-hmm.
The Shadowlands of Ashaya, I'm sure, are beautiful in the summer.
You should practice swimming just in case.
I think Nyla probably grabs Alara's hand and, like, as they head off towards their room.
Okay. And you are dressed by your handmaids. They attend to you. They brush out your hair. They braid it in the Roynar style. So they pull it back off your face. Braids cascade down your back with some sort of loose, wavy curls with it. And you're dressed in your finest clothes. This is one of the few times that you would wear your silk garments that you own. They feel heavy and constricting, especially, considering the light, loose linens that you typically wear and your armor. But you are dressed and cleaned to the best of their ability.
Nyla 100% has an argument with probably the poor handmaiden that her mother has sent in to do this, that she is wearing her sword belt. Men get to wear their swords all of the time for official greetings. She refuses to do anything but and affixes that. She's got her fancy Bravosi sword that she likes showing off.
And the handmaid is like, my lady, you can't wear that.
Why not? Men wear their swords at official occasions, do they not?
They do.
Well then.
But
I am a fighter. I am a trained fighter. I will wear mine too.
But, my lady, you are not a man, and you are not a knight.
No, I am not. But I could still probably knock a few of them on their ass.
Please, my lady, your mother, she will not be pleased.
She's already not pleased. I may as well capitalize on her not being pleased and do it all at once.
And this handmaid is like, my lady, the princess is coming.
It is not your fault. Yes, why is the princess coming? What is the point in them coming down here to Dorne? Well, to this part of Dorne, anyway.
I don't know. I just know that I have to get you clean and dressed, and
There are
she
no
comes.
good rumors. There's always rumors.
Well, I mean, I heard that because of the festival and only your father.
Oh, no, well, that is less juicy than I was hoping for, but.
She's a look on her face like, what the fuck? Hello? And she steps to the side for a second before she returns to you, and she has.
As soon as she steps aside, Nyla picks up the Bravosi sword and puts it round her waist.
As she looks at the sword belt, and her face is like, please, my God, but she's a servant. She knows her place, so she doesn't push you further, but she comes at you with some perfumed oils.
I feel like Nyla's immediate reaction as she's like straightening this out and just feels this perfume is to like bat her hands at it. Not because she doesn't like it, but it's just because like if you've ever had somebody spray perfume, anytime somebody else sprays perfume on you, it always ends up in your face and your nose. It doesn't matter what they do. It's just immediately, it's just like, oh, am I supposed to smell like, what is that, oranges? Oh.
Wait, my lady, it's better than the alternative.
No, that is true. Keep going.
she like lathers you up.
This time Nyla like just looks the other way so she doesn't just inhale this like mist of alcohol and oils like she did the first time around.
You're getting doused. But she basically fucking tips it over your head, this little vial. She's like, oh my God. But nonetheless, you are now prepared as best you can be.
It's not going to get any better than this. This is all time is going to allow.
Good God. Okay. Alada, in your chambers, you were dressed this morning, but, it's just a little bit of touch-ups that you need. And before long, you are summoned down to the courtyard to stand beside your mother, your sister, your brother, and the rest of the household to welcome the royal procession.
I think she's going to be making a great effort to be graceful and daughterly and still smirking at her sister whenever she gets an opportunity, like those moments of eye contact where you're about to burst into giggles and you know you just shouldn't look at each other. But she will make a great show as they're walking down of being like,
yes, it's oranges.
I would not have thought fish would go with oranges, but somehow you make it work.
Oh, sweet sister, it is a good job that we are related. And just laughs at her. And Nyla's probably doing the same. Like, for all of Nyla's clumsiness and preferring fighting, she can be quite graceful when she wants to be and quite ladylike looking, at least. and so does make the same effort that Elara makes, and that like she's not going to purposely make a spectacle of herself doing this.
Okay.
Probably like Big Sister Fashion starts fussing with something with like Elara's hair that's out of place and like slight annoying Big Sister thing.
Stop fussing about it.
Well, maybe you should have gotten your handmaiden to fix that.
Maybe you should not have come in smelling of produce.
I did not choose the perfume.
She's definitely got the whip on her hip, but it's more of like a dress whip, like to go with the outfit.
Oh my God.
And she'll just like very visibly kind of touch her hand to it as she keeps fussing with the hair.
Okay. Well, see, mother cannot have a go at me for being armed when you are the same. That is good to know. And then she kind of
This is part of my dancing.
And this is part of my killing.
We both have our skill set.
And I think then Nyla, before they reach a point like coming down the stairs where like people will see them, she kind of puts her arm around her. It's like, now you smell of oranges too. And, like,
oh, good.
Releases her.
So you are lined up in the courtyard next to your mother. Your mother stands in the prime position. Nyla next to her, Alara next to her, and then next to you, Alara, is Benu, your younger brother. On the other side of your mother is Sigaramond. Along further that procession, you have your other household servants. Notably, Tabolto is not there at this welcoming. You have your master of trade. She stood there too. You have your various household servants. They're all ready to receive. And you're stood there in the heat. You're under this, what's the fucking word? I said it earlier. Pavilion. That's it. I just had to think of cricket. Pavilion. You're under this pavilion waiting for the carriage to arrive. It is hot, even though you're out of the direct sun. It's that sticky, oppressive sort of midday heat that's starting to hit you. There's a slight breeze from the coast, but it's mostly obeyed by the walls of your keep. So it keeps the heat in. It's one of those places. And it reflects off the brilliant white stone, the limestone and the like that your keep is carved out of these cliffs. But after about 15-20 minutes of standing there waiting, a herald from the gate announces that Princess Nymeria of House Nymeros Martell and her retinue have arrived. Now, you would know that Princess Nymeria is the eldest daughter of Princess Nymeria. But you would also know that she cannot be more than 8 years old. So, as the carriage arrives, it pulls up in front of the pavilion. And this is a beautifully made carriage, made of a beautiful lacquered wood. It's rich and deep in color, and painted onto it is the sigil of House Nymeros Martell, the brilliant red sun pierced by a spear. The carriage pulls up for a moment before the door swings open, and stepping out of it is a large, imposing woman. She looks half wild, half mad. Her dark hair is messy and tousled, but pulled back into a ponytail tight at the back of her head. And she's wearing scale mail, which shines brightly as the midday sun hits it. Her skin is tan, but marred with scars. And her dark eyes look across all of you as she steps out of the carriage. At her hip, she carries a large shaped sword, kind of like a ancient Egyptian like kopesh. It's got like sort of like that scimitar-esque bit to it. And it dangles from her sword belt. She steps out, she looks at you all, nods respectfully before she turns back and offers a hand into the carriage. And a tiny hand takes hers, small and Every finger has a ring upon it. And the hand is taken, and stepping out from the carriage is Princess Nymeria. As I said, a small girl of about 8 years old. She has a rich tan color to her skin and dark hair, which falls about her face in curls. She has part of it pinned back with a brilliant gold hairpin. And she is dressed head to toe in gold. She's wearing a very elaborate neck piece of gold and lapis lazuli, so rich blue and gold contrasting against her skin. And her dress is made of this heavy golden threaded silk as it sits about her. She steps forward, standing in front of this very imposing lady. And she looks at you all, and with very practiced, calm speech, she steps forward. Greetings. And your mother immediately gives a deep curtsy.
Alara will drop down into this instant, super graceful curtsy, all the silk parts of her dress just sort of fluttering out as it's designed to do. Very respectful, very courteous.
And Nyla follows and does exactly the same in the same graceful fashion as Alara. Deep curtsy that's there for a moment, and she doesn't rise until her mother rises.
Mm-hmm. And your mother she holds the curtsy for a good couple of seconds before she stands up again, and she says, "My princess, welcome to Ghost Whale Hall." Stone Whale Hall is the name of the castle. Nailed it. May I introduce my family? And the princess, she looks up, she smiles. She has this very, very practiced sort of public appearance look to her. You know how the young royals in the UK, they have that very here's my pleasant smile, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna shake hands. She has that about her, but she also, being such a slight, small thing, she seems to have an authority with her as she walks. She's very, very confident. Her shoulders are back, her head is up. Even at such a young age, she is very well practiced at being a princess and being heir to House Nymeros Martell. And your mother comes across, she goes, "My daughter, Lady Nyla."
And Nyla again will do not quite as deep of a curtsy, but the kind of respectful drop and up again.
And the princess offers her hand.
And Nyla will take it and, as expected, do the customary greeting. Would that be kissing the hand in this case?
It's less of a kiss, more just a really nice little handshake. She's just giving the hand to just make that little bit of contact.
Yeah, and Nyla gracefully will take it and smile.
Mm-hmm. And she smiles. She says, "A pleasure to meet you, Lady Nyla."
"And you, my princess."
"I hope to speak with you later."
"Of course."
And she just smiles and nods before she moves on to Alara. And your mother says, "Lady Alara."
She will drop down into a very slight version of the previous curtsy and take her hand, all very respectful, until the moment her eyes flick up to meet the princesses, and then there's just that little sparkle of trying to make a connection there, a little mischievous twinkle there to see if there's anything answering it behind her eyes.
You are stonewalled. It's not a harsh expression, but it's still that very sort of distant, sort of pleasant, but no conspiratorial wink or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And she nods and smiles. And then your mother finally introduces your brother, and he gives a very low bow to her. And he's very, very, very respectful and kind of he looks a little bit embarrassed because he's never, your brother, he's not that used to this overtly formal sort of thing. This is his first time ever meeting anyone, really. And the princess looks at him. Lord Benel, a pleasure. I hear that you are a formidable fighter. And he's just like, yes, my lady, I practice every day in the yard with all manner of weapons. And then he sort of like gets all like, yeah, I'm fine, yeah. And your mother casts a look across all of you and looks at your brother. And he sort of like sharpens up. And as you're making these introductions, Garamond, you can see the rest of this retinue filing in. You see the carriage from House Santagar arrive, and which is, I said earlier, a leopard on a field of blue. The leopard is carrying a halberd, and it's a blue and white field. I got it wrong. Sorry. But you see a very handsome young man step out of the carriage of House Santagar. He can't be more than 17, 18 years of age, but he is fully decked out in his house's as much as splendor as his house can muster. He's wearing a blue and sort of white, like almost like Shawani, you know, very much like a high collar, lovely like tunic. At his waist, he carries a very fine longsword. He has a beautiful sash across his chest, and he is a very tall, quite broad young man with a shock of sandy blonde hair and piercing blue eyes. And he's very comfortable as he sort of walks forward. Doesn't obviously intrude on the princess. Alongside him, you see a maester. A sort of older man, not quite as hunched over in age yet, but definitely getting there. His skin is like that of old leather. Long white hair, which is sort of scraped back with like a pomade. Along there with them, you also see a man wearing armor very similar to yours. He's clearly not a man of Dorne. He is quite old. He is wearing almost like brigandine, more like plates rather than like whole plate armor. It's like a brigandine vest that he's wearing. And he carries with him a halberd. And he has a cloak, which is tattered and worn, which gives away his status as a hedge knight, as he carries no colors. And he's riding a courser too. But these people enter. The princess makes her introductions before your mother offers the princess food, drink, refreshment before the festivities. I'm sorry if you can hear that, by the way, folks. People next door have just started drilling. It's very loud. So, a couple of hours pass. The princess has been shown to some chambers. There is a wing of the keep which has basically been completely cleared out. These were your father's chambers before he passed. And these were guest chambers, and it has been completely cleaned out and revamped for the princess's arrival. It's basically locked off by her household guard. So your house is now half occupied by House Nymeria Martell guards, and they are very, very protective of their princess. But it is the evening, and a meal has been prepared. A vast, grand meal, which George R.R. Martin would spend 6 pages describing. We've got fish, we've got snake, we've got figs, we've got citruses, we've got sweetened wines, honeyed wines, we got honeyed pears, other things, cactus, people eat cactus, that's what they do, yeah, we've got... It's just a huge banquet, a huge hall, and it's all served to you fresh, sizzling, juicy. It's like food porn. The camera would linger on this buffet table for a long time before it ever got to any of you lot.
Not like that anime, is it?
Yes, it's like Food Wars. People start eating and clothes just come flying right off. Yeah. Yeah, it's Food Wars, but Westeros. The princess has been given the most honored seat in the hall. She is up there on the high table. She is sat central. Your mother has sort of seated herself slightly off to the side. This is not about your mother. This is not about your house. This is about the princess tonight. This is welcoming the princess. And the hall is buzzing with the sound of fun, frivolity, conversation. And in the corner, there is a musician, just a single musician, and she is playing a mandolin or a mandolin-esque instrument. And the hall is so busy and so loud, you would think she would be drowned out, but somehow she is managing to project this across the hall so it's heard. She's wearing very colorful clothing in hues of reds and purples. She has almost like that jester's collar around her neck, you know, that with the scallops. And you hear in passing people refer to her as Berry. But she is playing in the corner, and she's playing very like upbeat, jolly, sort of like very active songs. A couple of people, a little bit in their cups, have started to dance around her. But the floor is yours. What would you like to do? The food has been served, the toast has been given, and you have given free reign. It's up to any of you. One of you, do something.
Go on out to the house.
I think Nyla will probably dance a little bit at some point if the music is going, once it's appropriate to leave that high table.
Mm-hmm.
And just a little bit, just to enjoy some of the music and chat generally to some of the people there, doing the thing that she knows is expected of her, which is to be a little bit sociable as heir to the house. And then we'll probably head up to Ilara at the table. Are you not going to dance, sister?
Of course I'm going to dance. I just let them,
Tire themselves out so the floor is all yours?
It doesn't seem fair otherwise.
Nyla just laughs. Do you know what it is the princess wishes to talk to me about? You saw Mother this morning. Did she say anything? Something that you didn't tell me before?
No, she was just forcing me into a dress.
I wonder what it could be.
She'll look over at Banu, be like, no.
What?
No, Mother. Always worrying, but she seemed more worried than normal. Maybe.
Well, I think I would be worried too if a princess was making her way down to my house and then occupying it for the length of a festival. That is a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know what it is she wants to speak to me about. And of course, I cannot go and ask. Just have to wait.
Oh. Is that what we have problem with? The waiting?
Have you ever known me to be a patient woman?
You, of course. Such a patient, such a beauty, so even-tempered. That is what I say to people, so it is an extra surprise when they finally meet you.
Those things is true. I am pretty in ways that you are not, just because you are the beautiful one with all the grace. All of my grace comes when I fight, not when I dance.
It's a pity you can't show your grace more often.
Well, once the festival kicks off, there are all sorts of things that happen, and I spot people in some very wonderful armor that I would love to pit my skill against. Friendly, of course. And
What do you need?
We really should talk to our dear brother about speaking to women. That display in front of the princess was adorable, but
It's
If he
cute
doesn't get
though.
if
You
he
can
doesn't get
get
any better, we are never going to get him a wife.
if
At least
he
not one that
behaved like
likes him.
us. Mm, do we really want the fisherman's daughters to be in danger from him as well?
I mean, it would be nice if he would be, just a little threat.
Just a little. Mm-hmm.
Or, a guppy instead of whatever that was. Honestly. I love the boy
It
to
seemed
death,
quite
but
guppy.
sometimes it's amazing that we come from the same blood.
Maybe it skips the males.
She just laughs. And then she'll walk over to her little brother and just give him like a little ruffle on the head.
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing okay, little brother?
You say little brother, he's still like 16. Like, he's not like
Yeah,
a tiny child.
Oh, no, but he's a... I get the feeling that Nyla is like, she loves him very much.
Mm-hmm.
They probably train together because Nyla is a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
But in her head, he's still 7.
Mm-hmm.
Because she is that much older than him too.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Like she's like 8 or 9 years older than him, so it doesn't matter that he's 16. He is a child, and she still occasionally treats him like one. She ruffles his hair and puts her hand on his shoulder. How are you doing?
And as you ruffle his hair, he sort of bats your hands off and very carefully like puts it back as he's like carefully pulled it back into like a half, like like the Jon Snow, right, with like the little bun at the back of his head, and you've like disturbed a bit of it, and he's like, Nyla, I'm fine.
It's fine. Your hair being a little bit messy gives you a slightly more rugged look. It will work for you.
I don't want to be rugged. There's a princess right there at our table.
Yes, and I think she probably gets to look at very pretty men at court all day. You are the one boasting about your fighting prowess.
I can be a good fighter and not look like shit.
You can, but good fighters usually end up looking like shit after they have fought. The stammering and the stuttering was rather adorable, brother.
Well, how many times have you spoken to a princess?
Precisely once then, and I wasn't falling over myself.
What do you want? Have you come to bully me, come pick on me? What do you want?
Can your older sister not come and tease you just a little bit?
He sort of makes a frustrated noise and leans back in his chair.
The training yard and tomorrow morning. Let's see these many weapons you have been training with.
I'm going to embarrass you when I swim the gap.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
What? I'm going to swim the gap.
You think Mother is going to let you swim the gap?
Mother has no say in it. I'm a man now. I make my own decisions, and I want to swim the gap.
You are 16. You are barely a man. You cannot even talk to women, and you think you are going to swim through shark-infested waters?
Mm-hmm.
She's going to kill you. You won't get to the waters. The shark that you have to worry about is sitting at the other end of this table.
Nyla, Mother is so worried about whether or not you're going to bring home a bastard. She doesn't notice what I do.
It's very hard to bring home a bastard if you don't sleep with men.
That's not what the townsfolk say.
Yes, well, the townsfolk have a hard time wrapping their head around anything that isn't normal. So you haven't told her that you are swimming the gap. And you are just, what, swimming this alone?
No, I'm going to go with Tiboto.
You do understand that this is not some simple race. This isn't dipping your feet in the water by the docks.
I know.
This is shark-infested waters. It is a long swim.
Mm-hmm.
Even I can swim, and I wouldn't swim the gap.
I guess I'm just braver than you are.
I think you are stupider than I am. Perhaps our sister was right in that it skips the men in this family.
What skips the men?
The ability to talk to women, the intelligence.
And as you say that, his nostrils kind of flare and he looks at you and there's like a little anger in his eyes. Our father has been dead less than 6 months.
And I miss him just as much as you do.
I was born in his image.
You were, but father was older, wiser, seasoned. He would tell you exactly the same thing that I am telling you now, that it is a dangerous and bad idea. I am not going to tell mother. I am not going to listen to that conversation. I am not going to stop you swimming the gap. Because if you are anything like me, you won't listen to me anyway. But if you're going to do it, do not do it without thinking. Please. I am begging you, brother. Prove yourself if you wish. Swim it if you really feel that you have to. But do not go into those waters with bravado. Even the sailors fear the sea, with good reason. It is dangerous. It does not care about you. And it will drag you to its steps to your death. Just... Mother has been through enough with losing father. She does not need to lose a son, too. Okay?
I have thought about it. I have trained for it. Do not assume that because you and Lara run around without thinking, without... Don't assume that I am like you. I'm nothing like you.
You are more like me than you realize. I knew me at 16. I will not tell mother. You will promise me that you will be careful.
I swear it.
She looks at him and she's got like that big sister like, oh. And then she just smiles. Okay, I will keep your secret. But if you come back because you had to be brought back, I'm going to tell you I told you so. And if you swim it, I will buy you any cask of wine that you wish, okay?
I'll hold you to that.
She gives him that look of like, I support you because I am your big sister, but like you are playing in dangerous waters. She ruffles his hair once more before she walks off and goes back to her seat. I love you, brother.
I hate you. As you walk away.
No, you don't.
he's desperately trying to fix his hair, and his like little outburst and arms flying has drawn a bit of attention. And he's like,
Nyla thinks it's funny because she hasn't actually like, she's not gonna like get in and properly do it. It's just a little bit, and she knows that he's like completely overreacting.
Yeah, he's messed his own hair up from like, get off.
She just kind of laughs and goes and sits back down in her seat, and then just like picks up the cup of sweet wine and just looks down at the table at him, realizes what he's going to do and the fact she's not going to say anything, and just takes a sip and just looks into the cup like, oh, this is going to go horribly. Just to herself.
Alara.
Mm.
As you witness Nyla coming back after a discussion with your brother, you see her take that sip. The young lord from House Santagar approaches. He bows. My lady.
She'll glance across at Nyla. My lord?
May I say you look beautiful tonight?
You may indeed. You look very handsome as well.
And he flashes you.
Whisper?
He flashes you this really like just wide like Brad Pitt-esque smile. You know, this motherfucker, he knows he's good looking, he knows his angles, and he hits you with like the best angle that he's got.
Pow!
Pow! It hits you with the blue steel. You
know?
And he straightens up after bowing to you. Well, the ride was long and arduous and but it was worth it in the end.
You got to where you wanted to be.
I did. I did. And I got to meet such beauties. And he sort of like puts his arm out like around the table to you, to Nyla.
And not to mention lovely food.
I must say, the way you prepared your snake here is different to how we do it back in Santagar, but I think I prefer it this way.
Why? How do you prepare your snake?
Well, back in Xantagar, they put a drop of venom from the snake as they cook it, but it's so bitter, it removes the taste, you know, you don't get the flavor, the juice, the succulence of the meat.
You like your food?
I do.
Good to know.
There's one thing I like more than food, though.
Mm.
Dancing.
Ah.
And
Well, then you are in the right place. Mm.
I hear a rumor that you are a wonderful dancer. And he kind of like looks you up and down a little bit as you see it at the table.
Who has been telling such lies?
Well, when you see the beauty of dance, it spreads around the world. I think there are people far in the north, in the frozen wastes beyond the wall, that know of your beauty in dance.
These lines usually work, do they?
Yes, they do. If they work this time.
Well, I was planning to dance anyway, so you may as well consider it winning.
And he hits you again with that winning smile, and he offers his arm to you.
She'll take it very gracefully and follow wherever he leads.
Okay. And he leads you to the middle of where everyone is dancing. And he kind of leads you in a way where he, in his very warm, charismatic self, kind of convinces people to just fuck off a little bit, you know? He asked for a little bit of room.
Flourish.
Yeah, there's a flourish of his arm, and he sort of spins you out a little bit just to create that room to dancing. And you see the musician Barry. She looks at you both down there. She sees the flourishes, the movement of your skirts, and she picks up with the mandolin. She picks up the pace, something with a higher rhythm, a higher beat to it, and she starts singing this song in a language that is not really a language. It's more vocal sounds to accompany it, and she goes high in the vocal range just to create this frenetic, fast dancing pace.
Lara will instantly pick up that beat, and the movements will be mimicking what the music is doing. It's not just dancing along a set pattern like a lot of people tend to do. She'll it's almost like a story she's telling.
And there's a moment where Lord Xantagar, he gives you the space to do this, to see what you're doing, to see how you react to this music, before he attempts to join you in this. And his movements are very fluid. They're very smooth as he does it. And he is very aware of the movement of his clothing. Although he's in this very sort of like neat Shawani, his sash has like a tail to it. And that moves and sways as he does. And he tries to complement, not overshadow the way your dress is moving with his movements. And he tries to like silk, just try and move around and with you without, and trying to like showcase you as the dancer more than anything.
Mm-hmm. I think she will be going with that. So it almost ends up like a dance capoeira kind of feel where they're both like avoiding each other, but the movement of his sash feeds into the movement of her arms, and it's all just like a melding, like an improvisation together. And just occasionally she'll throw in a little unexpected something to see if he can keep up.
Okay. All right. So you throw in a little spice to see if he keeps up. And at first it catches him a little off guard. And you see him falter for a moment in his step as he's like, what the fuck did she just do? And then he's like, oh, I see. And then he sort of like begins to cotton on. And so in the future, when you throw a little bit of spice at him, he's ready for it now. He's ready to move. And you two are creating quite the scene now. Conversation around you has died as people are just watching you two dance.
Her grin starts out as a little very polite smirk. But as this goes on more and more, just gets wider and wider, and these eyes just fixing on him like, oh, this is fun. This is like finding a running buddy.
And his face very much matches yours. So the first is he's got concentration. He's very sort of like trying to, guitarist face when they're like really focusing and they're like, and he's doing that to begin with. But as he like falls into it and he relaxes, he sees your face light up. By the end, he has a beaming smile upon his face. And he comes in close in one movement, sort of taking your hand and spinning you so you're against his chest. And he whispers, as he looks up around, he goes, oh, we've created quite the scene, as he sort of spins you away.
The fronds of her dress kind of floating around her, doing this kind of almost watery spin, like what's the word? No, can't think of it. But almost wrapping around her as she spins, and then comes back in towards him as they divert from each other again.
Mm-hmm.
Manages to snatch in, just completely unintentional, I'm sure.
And the next time he moves past you, he says, I knew they weren't lying about your dancing. And he's breathing heavily. Like there's a lot of exertion going on.
Liar? You hoped they weren't lying about my dancing.
All right, you got me. I didn't know. I'd hoped.
And she'll listen out for the ending of this song approaching and make sure that they both have a very dramatic spin at the end of it, and she goes straight down into this, again, very dramatic low curtsy with all these silk fronds just fluttering down in front of her, and she finally makes him the focal point of it, just standing there. And then looks up like this challenge of like, what you gonna do?
And he sees that and he's like, oh, okay. And he sort of grins. He does a show with his arms. He does like a slow turn before he returns to you, one hand across his chest, and does a very deep bow.
She will raise her hand up to take his without even looking, and stand and look out at everybody and do a little spin and a bow and a spin and a curtsy.
And he takes your hand and he very lightly touches your knuckles to his lips. Just it's not like completely, it's a little spicy, but it's not completely like a no. It's just like a little And he says, oh, my name's Darren, by the way.
Elara.
Nice to meet you, Elara.
Maybe.
You put me through my paces. That's for sure.
That's what I do.
I've never met a woman like you before.
You need to get out more.
Clearly I do. And he sort of like, with his other hand, like wafts himself. You can see like there's a light sheen on his skin. Maybe, perhaps, hopefully, I hope that we can dance again soon.
I'm sure there will be more parties, more festivals. Once a year.
And he looks at that, it looks at you, and he says under his breath, very quietly to himself, you would just be able to hear that. I'd like more than once a year.
She will choose to not react to that.
And he escorts you back to your table before nodding very respectfully to Nyla. Forgive me, my lady, for stealing your sister from you.
No, please. I enjoy watching her dance. She is far more talented than I am at that.
Oh?
She got the dancing, I got the swordplay.
Oh, yeah, warrior.
All women are warriors. We just have different weaponry.
I think I like it here.
It's a wonderful place. You should get to enjoy more of it as the festival goes on.
And he has a very large smile on his face, and he casts an eye across the room back to his people, his cohorts. If you forgive me, my ladies, I must go check in with my people. And he once again bows before swanning away. He's got a little pep to his step as he walks away. He's like, oh.
Alara will kind of sort of sit back against the table and grab a goblet of wine and a fig and just be like,
Nyla's
that was fun.
At her, just absolutely beaming. She's like, that was fun.
Yes. What?
He likes you, sister.
Of course he does.
You know exactly what I mean.
And?
You should dance with him again before the festival is over.
I probably will.
Nyla's got the shit. It's the totally just like you like a boy grin that you give when you're 12.
What?
Nothing.
You're just glad that I am taking the heat off you.
Let's face it. It is always you that they would prefer to have. You are the one that can dance and look pretty.
Only for the dancing, not for the house. I get away with the dancing because I am not for the house.
At least they like you for your dancing. It's something that you are good at and you can do. They are interested in me because of legacy, and name, and money.
But the fisherman's daughter didn't like you for your skills.
Yes, but not the skills that it takes to run a household.
It's two different things. You run the house, you have your fun. Different.
One can dream.
You can do more than dream. You will be heir. You can do whatever you want. Lady of the house,
do whatever I want.
You've been holding back.
It is thankful that the gods blessed me with enjoying the form of a woman. Otherwise, Mother would have several grandchildren that she would not want to look at by now.
Why pick?
Not that I do not like them, they're just not as interesting or pretty.
Some of them are very pretty.
And some of them think other men are very pretty when that is the case.
I like those ones too.
Sister, we are too much alike. We both like all of them.
Life is too full of joys. Why restrict yourself?
So, if I tell you something, you won't tell Mother, will you? But I refuse to hold on to this secret by myself.
Ooh, now I have to.
Our dear little brother has got it into his head that he's going to swim the gap.
She will just stuff the fig into her mouth to stop herself from making any more noises like that.
He is apparently swimming it with... Oh shit, what's Don's character's name? I can't pronounce anyone's names in this.
Tibalto.
Apparently they are swimming it together. I have not told Mother. I have told him that I think he's being an idiot. They love him either way.
Tell her immediately. I will take the heat off us.
No, because then she will start it on him, and then he will get mad and do something even stupider.
What is more stupid than swimming in
shark-infested water? Look, think about when we were 16. If someone had told us no doing something like that, we would have gone and done something even more stupid to prove that we could. At least Tibalto will bring him back when he gets tired halfway through.
Well, then tell her anyway and earn that,
Would you want to tell her?
All right.
No, do not.
She'll head straight across the room.
Nyla will just grab her by the wrist and pull her back. No. No.
Why? Well, you want him to die.
No, I do not think he will die. He is not alone. But I think that it would be good for him to fail at something. He spends too much time coddled by mother doing things, too much time training in the yard with a dummy, thinking that that makes him a man. Perhaps this will be the lesson that he needs. To learn
I
that there
don't
is
know if you saw a different thing earlier to me, but I saw him fail rather spectacularly. Talking to the lady? The princess?
yes, but perhaps he will learn that there is more to being a man than turning 16 and swimming a stretch of shark-infested waters to prove his prowess.
Eh. He's going to do it anyway.
If he manages it, he will be insufferable, but...
Now that I would like to see.
You and me both.
Insufferable is good. Confidence, good.
Confidence is good. If he becomes insufferable, I'll just knock him on his ass again in the training yard.
Why do you think we get Mother's slipper so much?
Because we are the two competent children of the house?
Mm-hmm. So?
No. No, I am not telling you. No. Let him make his own mistakes.
Exactly.
Though this is not him making his own mistake, this is us telling Murther that he's about to make his own mistake, and then he won't go and do it.
He will do it anyway.
Yes, but at least this way he does it with somebody instead of taking off in the middle of the night to swim it by himself to prove it. That's
You
what
think
I would do.
Tibaldo would not do it?
No, but if it were
He
me...
ran away in the middle of the night, he would... He'll be there.
If it were me, and I knew that Mother had found out, the first thing I would be doing after getting out of this hole would be swimming it, by myself, to prove a point.
Ugh.
So, it is safer just to let him do his thing, let Mother find out afterward.
Just occasionally. I have these little flash of... What is the feeling? Sympathy for Mother.
We are not easy children. I think she thought it would be easy when she was given girls, but...
Easy children, easy to kill.
And Nyla will also take a drink as an sentiment.
At that. Garmond. Hi, Tom. I think you forgot you were in this episode. It's been a while.
Oh, no,
right?
cool. Cool. I'm doing exactly what Garamond would be doing.
Just
staring on duty, just looking.
Doo-doo-doo. So, you have been doing your duty, stalwart, quiet in the background, almost invisible, as you've been used to being doing. You have been standing close to Lady Soraya and Princess Mariah. Oh God, I just realized those names rhyme.
Oh, split those up quickly.
You haven't quite overheard what they're talking about. They're talking in in low tones, but they're having quite a what appears to be quite an intense conversation. As you're stood there, a Banu comes up and stands next to you. So it takes him a while to say anything. He's he's a little
yeah, because they've been there for a while and he knows he's there, so he's just looking around and he's smirking a little bit, waiting for him to initiate.
Mm-hmm. Almost as if he thinks that maybe you didn't realize he'd come and stood next to you. So Garmond,
My lord,
how are things?
They are well, thank you, my lord. The party seems to be going well.
And how is everything? Is everyone safe? Are your men doing well?
Aye, my lord. All the men are on duty, and once the party and dinner is over, I'll ensure that all the family members are in their quarters, and I will do my usual patrol of the walls.
Good, good. And you get the feeling that this is something that the Lord Reza would do with you. He would check in with you every now and then, just make sure you're doing all right and make sure everything's fine in the house at events. And you can tell he's trying to do that. He's trying to step up where he can.
Garamond will smile and he'll kind of look to the side very quickly. So like his head is facing like that, but his eyes kind of like go down. So it's a light thing. And he'll go, it's funny, my lord. For a second there, I could have sworn that I heard your father ask those things.
And he takes a moment. He looks down. You hear like the shuffle of his boot as he sort of like, mess around with the toe of his boot. It's strange, this is the first celebration we've had since he died. Doesn't feel the same without him.
It never will, my lord. But if there's one thing that you would learn about this life, particularly if you're a man and you want to be a knight, is that you will fight and people will die. But if you're very good, you get to be an old man like me.
Well, hopefully all that training you gave me is going to pay off then, and then I get to be a very old man.
I'm sure of it, my lord. Particularly if one gets up at the crack of dawn, goes to the dueling yard to meet me in the morning for their morning training. Even during festivity time.
Is that your way of telling me that we're training tomorrow morning?
I would never insist anything on my lord.
He sort of gives you like a...
There's a little smirk on the side of his face.
Well, I'm sure you wouldn't. Sir Armand, if I tell you something, you promise not to admonish me, not to make fun of me.
I would never make fun of you.
I tried to tell my sister, and she just treats me like a child.
Sisters, I'm sure, do that. They like to tease you.
You see, the problem is, Sir Garamond, I'm not a child anymore. I am a man. But nobody ever treats me like a man. Even, and he says very quietly because he knows you're nearby, even Mother. They still see me as an infant, as a little whelp of a child, and I'm never going to be able to protect my family or serve the princess or do what I can for everyone if everyone just sees me as a baby.
I would ask for patience with your family, my lord. The loss of your father is still raw, and you do look a lot like him. I would ask to give them time. They will come around, and you will be a man when you are ready. You were doing everything right.
I'm
Do
ready
your
now.
training. Why are you in a rush, my lord?
Because I am the only lord left.
I see.
If I am not a man, if I don't step up, then who will?
That is very noble of you, my lord. And I understand. If there is anything you would like me to do to assist you in this, please just let me know. Extra training. I will do what I can.
I think extra training will be good. And if you could, I know that you are not of our family by blood, but mother treats you like family. If, when you're talking, she continues to talk to me as if I am a child, or she talks to you like that, try and convince her otherwise. And maybe I might need your services to protect me from her at one point or another.
And Garamond visibly breaks. He just he visibly breaks, snaps back, and comes back up into the thing. You're not planning on doing something foolish, are you, my lord?
Well,
She would only try to do something like that if you were to do something foolish.
Well, Nyla seems to think that what I want to do is stupid, so I'm going to swim the gap.
And he'll look at him and raise an eyebrow, then look ahead. I think that's a good idea, my lord.
You do?
Aye. The locals is a rite of passage for a lot, and it would do well to see the young lord, to the locals, be seen as a man.
And he sort of like gives you like a "that's what I've fucking been saying this whole time" like look on his face.
Do you think you're ready?
And he like gives a nod.
And then Garamond will. How tall is he?
He's
reasonably tall.
He's reasonably. I'd say he's about like 5'10", 5'11".
Okay,
you know?
so Garamond won't, because I think Garamond's about maybe just about 6 foot, maybe just under. And he'll turn to him, and he'll look at him, and he goes, "You have to be sure about this, my lord. As with everyone going into battle, it will be a battle of your own. Are you sure you are ready?"
And he goes from that sort of like dumbstruck, like finally someone understands, to like a very like hardened, I am ready. I know I am.
Then the locals will look forward to seeing their young lord turn into a man.
And he has like this really chuffed little smile on his face. And he sort of goes to do that sort of like manly like arm punch thing, and he clanks against your armor, and he doesn't go because I mean he's taken worse hits, you know, but he just like just makes a little fleshy on your armor. Thank you, Sir Garamond.
My lord.
But I mean it about mother.
Don't
let her interfere.
I cannot, my lord. I am her sworn sword. If she orders me to stop you, I will have no choice but to stop you. But I will do my best to persuade her otherwise. I think she would see the logic in your reasoning.
And he gives you a nod before he tools off back to his own little table. And he's seemingly more confident as he walks now. He sort of approached you with a bit of like a slump to him. But you know, he sits back at his table and he picks up his wine, takes a nice big gulp, and looks around before he spots someone, and he's up and chatting to them. And as you're watching, go ahead.
Probably smiling with the visible difference on how confident he is and everything. Yeah.
So as you stood there watching guard, you see out of the corner of your eye that other knight that had arrived with the procession, the hedge knight. He's not in his armor at dinner, as that would be extremely gauche, and some people have standards and are not gauche tacky bitches, turns out, especially in my campaign. He sat there, he's in a sort of formal tunic, which you can tell has traveled quite a bit. It's a little frayed at like the corners around the stitching, but it doesn't look untidy or decrepit or anything like that. And he is very clearly, very obviously looking at you, and he's looking at you with that sort of like face someone does if they're trying to figure out if they know you. But it also helps that you are the only person in this room who isn't of Dornish or Rhoynar descent. So you and him stick out like sore thumbs in this room. He is sunburned. You can tell like across his cheeks. He's red and his nose is red. And it's sort of hit that sort of peeling stage, but he's kind of, you can tell he's trying to like apply some cream or like get off the bits of flaking skin, but you can still see it. And he's giving you, he's just looking at you.
Okay. At that point, Garamond will do one kind of like sweep of the room and kind of slowly make his way towards where this knight is. And he'll stand kind of like near him, just having a look around. And he'll pause him and mix in some cactus oil into that as well. Does wonders for the burn.
And this night, as you're behind him as you say this, he's taking a sip of his wine goblet and he kind of looks up behind him at you as he's seated. Cactus, you say?
Aye. Works for me, at least. And Garamond kind of has a permanent kind of red around his nose and his cheeks and along the floor because he's been here for so long. And the paleness is still very much around, but any like, things that kind of point out or anything, would normally get sunburned are kind of permanently kind of like that really gross red, that's like damaged skin. But it's not dry or peeling anymore. Worked for me after a while.
Well, I never thought my lips would get as chapped as my ass after a 6-day fucking ride, but here we are. God. And he's like trying to like wet his lips with the wine, and it sort of stings, and he hisses through his teeth.
Have you been down in Dorne long?
No. God, no. Why would I be down here?
You tell me. What in Seven's name says you to come down to Dorne?
Coin.
Ah. Makes sense.
Getting hard to come by up there.
Up where?
Back home.
And he'll look. The Vale?
And he nods.
Yeah. When was you last there?
Oh, maybe a year or so. Been traveling for, feels like a year.
And how is it? Is it much the same?
I don't know. How was it when you left?
Tall mountains, forests, small creeks, snow occasionally, rain. Beautiful.
He takes a sip of his goblet and he's not looking at you. He continues to look out across the floor. So no war then when you left?
Oh. Not so much. A few bandits here and there. That's all.
Couldn't say the same for when I got the fuck out of there.
What do you mean?
It's all gone to shit.
I don't understand.
Hill tribes, they got too much. Started overrunning towns, and then when the king sent out his men, they got ambushed. Lost a lot of them. Then some of the local lesser bastards around the area thought they'd have a go while things were weakened.
The king, is he still rule?
As I say, I don't know. It's been a while, but last I heard, probably not likely.
See. Well, I suppose it's good to know what's happening back home, even if it is bad news.
And he looks at you. Were you a knight back home?
A long time ago, yes.
Who'd you serve?
I served King Aaron.
And he puts his cup down and he stands. And he puts a hand on your arm. I'm sorry that I was the one that had to break that news to you.
It's good that you did. Better one that calls the Vale home than some whispers. At least I could trust what you say. Still, I hope that won't put a damper on you enjoying the festivities.
No, I'll be all right. I'm an edge knight now. I don't serve no one except myself. And then
It's not a
they pay
bad
me.
life.
I mean, you've done all right for your son.
After a lot of wandering, I found a good house to call home. I was lucky.
Why down here?
I ran out of kingdoms to search in.
Fucking hell, how many kingdoms you go through?
You'd be surprised how far you can go in about 15 years of traveling. A lot of them are very much a muchness. Little kingdoms here and there. Kings rising and falling. All they want is just a sword that'll kill what they want. No true knights. I do wonder sometimes if anyone knows what being a true knight is anymore.
World we live in today, probably not.
Mm.
These lot down here don't.
I think they just have a different concept of what a knight is. If you can call them that.
Aye. Well, it's a fucking shit one. I'll give you that.
Well, maybe at the festivities or in a few melee, we can teach these Royner and Dornish how we do it things in the Vale.
Oh, aye?
I'm sure a few old knights like us could show these young'uns a few things.
Aye, or we get our asses handed to us.
Aye. Still, we got the excuse of age behind that.
Gods be good. Don't we just? Alright, well, if you'll excuse me, I've got to take a piss.
You go ahead.
And he sort of like almost brushes past you, but not in like a aggressive manner, just in like a friendly, you know, it's a bit of contact. Toxic masculinity, you don't get to hug each other. This is about as much as it gets.
Yeah. I guess firm kind of like nod. that's as intimate as you could ever get.
Yeah.
And, as being a knight, and he'll and then Garamond will kind of just like slowly start doing the rounds, just having a look around, making sure everything is okay. Kind of like go into this site of Lady
Soraya. Psoriasis. Yep.
Psoriasis. I'm gonna have to remember that, Soraya, to ensure that she doesn't need anything from him, and if she says it's okay, just continue patrol. You know, the usual stuff that you would do.
She actually flags you over.
Oh, in that case, he will make a beeline to her immediately. You know, passing through people, giving friendly nods, but immediately, and he will come up to behind her, to beside her. You know, not interrupting any conversation.
She just says quietly, "Bring me Nyla."
As you say, milady. And he'll have a look around and see if he can find Nyla.
I imagine that Nyla's probably like at some point gone back down again to join some of the dancing and some of the, again, just like the keeping up appearances. She knows she's heir to the house, so she's chatting to probably some of the slightly more important people that are in attendance here. Just that casual, like slightly awkward small talk that everyone already kind of agrees to, that they know is going to happen.
Yeah.
Well,
Garamond will kind of like head his way to there, and he'll stand kind of like, you know, that awkward thing where you want to interrupt someone and it's just a little bit far back, but they know you're there and you're just waiting for a good moment in the conversation to interrupt. So he's there for like a few moments. And Garamond's quite a bulky guy. He's quite a bulky guy, and he's clinging around because he's wearing his chain still. So
Nyla's
yeah, he's
fairly perceptive as well. So I think if she sees like Garamond's route down from the table heading towards her, she probably already knows.
He's looking. Yeah. And he'll forgive the interruption, lords, ladies. Your lady mother would like a word with you.
And Nyla just kind of nods. Excuse me, I will speak to you again soon. And she kind of sweeps her way through really politely. And it's not until her back is to them and she looks at Garrett. What is this about? Is this about Elia?
I don't know, my lady. I do not think that she would do something like that sort public.
Do you know what it is the princess wants to talk to me about?
I would have no idea, my lady. I could not guess. Perhaps she just wants to speak to the heir of the house.
Perhaps. And then Nyla will, you know, with Sir Garamond, make her way up there. She won't mess about.
And once Nyla's there, Garamond will kind of nod and then obviously back away, so he's not, he's, you know, and then go back to his place to stand.
As you make your way to your mother, you see that she is already standing. Next to her is the princess. Next to the princess is the princess's chaperone, who is Savorian Dolt. He is wearing a finely crafted sort of silken tunic in a very rich patterned purple. With the buttons down the front are golden lemons of his house. And he stood there with his hands neatly behind his back, his shoulders back, and he's very deferential to the princess. And your mother says, Nyla.
Mother, princess, sir. And she addresses all of them and looks expectantly.
The princess wishes to speak to you, Nyla.
Of course. Here, or should we go somewhere private?
And she nods. We'll take you to one of the sitting rooms. And she gestures through for the princess to go through the door before her, before she leads you through to a room which is basically no other purpose than it's got there's like Roman style seats with the little U and like benches and like Romany chaise longues, and there's like cushions and there's fabric, and it opens out onto like a balcony with the night air, and there's like linens over it and like pillars, and it's really fancy and like very cozy. This is a sort of like a reception room, like a sitting room, as it were, of the time. The princess is offered one of the benches, one of the seats, the stools, Roman stool things. The princess takes it very gracefully. She's sat there, but her feet, she's a small, slight young girl, so her feet barely touch the floor, and for all of her imposing presence or the way she carries herself, it's kind of a little bit undercut by the fact that she's kicking air, you know. She doesn't swing her feet because that's not very princessly, but you know, she's not quite making contact with the floor. And stood behind her to her immediate right is Savorian, and he doesn't say a word.
Oh, sorry. Nyla will take a seat, and she has to kind of awkwardly adjust for that Bravosi blade on her hip, but like sits on the edge of it, graceful still, like back straight. She's, you know, for all of her faults, she doesn't have terrible posture, and she just politely is Lady Soraya still in the room, or is she kind of left?
So in a very similar position, to Sevorian. Your mother is stood behind you. She's not seated. She's stood. And you know outside of the door, as you hear it close, you see that very large, imposing lady. She stood, keeping guard over the door as it closes. And the princess, you know, she waits for everyone to be seated. As you adjust for that blade, her eye does stray to your belt, and you hear your mother very quietly hiss under her breath as she sees it too. And you get the feeling she's added a mental note. She's like, armed in the presence of the princess. Fucking tick, that's another one for the bollocking list. But once you're all seated, Sevorian pours a few cups of wine, and they're placed on a little table in front of you. The princess doesn't take a wine glass. Lady Nyla, I hope you've been enjoying the evening.
I have. It has been wonderful. I hope the same for you, my princess.
Oh, very much so. The hospitality of your house has been outstanding. It's been wonderful. I've had a wonderful time. I felt so welcome. No wonder my mother speaks highly of you.
She does us a kindness.
But I'm sure you're wondering why I have asked to speak with you.
I will admit my curiosity has been piqued. It is not every day that a princess asks to speak to you.
No, I suppose it's not. Although, for me, every day. I come on behalf of my mother to offer you a proposal. My mother, Princess Nymeria of House Nymeros Maitel, Lady of Sunspear, Princess of Dorne, the Flame of Nysar, commands you to marry Lord Darren Santagar.
Just to double check for me, is this the same dude who was dancing with Alara? I see. I am honored by the proposal. Forgive me, it is not what I was expecting, not that I knew what I was expecting. And this is her command?
It is her command.
I do not know much about this lord. Would you do me the courtesy of telling me more about his house?
Of course. But before we start, V, I would like to begin an intrigue. Our very first intrigue!
This is going to go horribly.
All right, I need to get a character sheet up. Where did I put it? There it is.
Nyla is not built for intrigue.
Oh, vengeance. It's almost mine. Right,
Susie, don't say it, because Roll20 will be like, you thought.
Listen.
Don't.
I have other hypothetical children that I'm going to bargain. Like, don't worry about it. It's fine. I've sold one. What's another?
I mean, at that point. Status reputation or status breeding?
It will be status breeding. But where's the cheat sheet?
Because I don't have anything in either of those two things.
Ow, ow, ow. Okay.
10. Oh, what are these numbers? I'm not used to this.
Okay, let me just
Are you also getting the cheat sheet up?
Yeah, I got the cheat sheet. I just need to make sure that I am going to be rolling the right thing. Bear with me 1 second, Chalmaroonies. You can see my old macros there in chat. You're welcome. Okay, that's right. All right. That is a 21 from the princess. Okay. All right. Oh my god, I've got so many fucking windows. Sam, how did you ever do this for 3 years? Good lord. All right, so set your initial disposition. I need to write a note. Where's my notes? Okay. Got your initial disposition?
Yep.
Okie doke. So, she looks at you with a very calm, very pleasant, sort of very matter-of-fact face, as if she's just asked you to go to the shop to grab, a couple of oranges, rather than, commanding your entire life be changed and uprooted. And she says, House Santagard has been a long and trusted friend of House Nymeros Martell. They came along with us, with my mother, with your mother, from Mother Royne, and settled. They have proven themselves to be loyal and just friends of all Roynar peoples. They have sworn to protect the Stepstones and the coast. It is my mother's hope that by uniting the houses, we can protect Eastern Dorne.
Sounds like a strong alliance.
A very strong alliance.
I will not refuse your mother's command, of course. It sounds like he is a good man with a strong house, and I am very grateful for such a wonderful match. I do fear, however, and she kind of briefly looks back at her mother, that the Lord is perhaps more interested in my younger sister. Has he yet been spoken to about this arrangement?
There is a knock at the door, and the very large, imposing lady pokes her head in, and she says, "My lady, Lord Santagard." And he steps through, and the princess says, "Thank you, Siva," and nods, and the lady steps back outside. And he enters. He's very, he's got his hands behind his back. He's very, prim proper in front of the princess. He bows, doesn't say a word. The princess says, "The Lord Santagard has been informed. You may ask him any questions you wish."
Nyla smiles, a genuine smile. She's kind of happy that she's not going to have to awkwardly sit here while the princess explains the same thing to this guy. And it is such a wonderful proposal. I should hope that in uniting our houses, we will bring strength to Dorne, to the crown. I'm sorry, I do not really know what to say. This is not what I was expecting tonight.
I am gonna roll for the princess right now because I forgot we were doing intrigue. See, this is what happens. Yeah. We get role playing, forget we're in an intrigue. She's gonna just go for a convince. She is really wanting to just be like, "You're gonna do this. You're gonna be happy about this. There's gonna be no ifs and or buts. This is what's going on. This is what my mum said. This is what we're doing." So she's gonna go for a persuasion and convince on you. So let me roll that. Oh god, I do have other things. Okay. Wow. That's a 17 against your intrigue defense.
Oh yeah.
Okay, how many degrees of success is that?
My intrigue defense is 11.
11. Okay, so that's 2 degrees of success. So that's 6 damage against your fuck me the words. Hello? Composure. That's it. Thank you very much. Factoring in your disposition. However, due to a perk of Mariah, you reduce your disposition penalty by 2. So whatever your disposition is at right now, take 2 off of it.
How does sorry, I've already forgotten his name.
Darren
or Darren?
Darren. So D-E.
Okay.
And then an A.
How does he seem to look about this?
He is keeping a very sort of calm expression. There is a hint of a smile to his lips. he is he doesn't seem freaked out, he doesn't seem upset, he doesn't seem angry by this at all. He's not beaming like he was when he was dancing with Alara, but he doesn't seem upset.
Okay. Satisfying, at least for Nyla. I think that he's not doing like trying to cover up the angry kid face in the corner.
Like
I think like she studies his face for a minute, looking at him, kind of smiles to herself. If it is the princess's command, I will not say no. This is a great honor that your mother has bestowed upon me in both of our houses. Thank you. And Nyla is genuinely smiling. She is not offended by this offer. She understands how important this is politically, as well as just personally as well. This is, you know, a good house to be pushing into, especially if they're in favor with Nymeria as well.
And you feel your mother's hand just rest on your shoulder, and there's no sort of like, you know, it's not the mum squeeze of like, you fucking don't fucking do it. It's not. It's actually like a comforting gesture from her at this point. And the princess smiles, and she says, "Well, what a happy day."
You have honored our house, princess, both by your presence here to enjoy our festival and this kind offer. Thank you.
She smiles. V, is there anything that you would like to roll for in this intrigue? Like, are you trying to wangle something?
So at this point, Nyla's kind of thing that she wants to now is probably go and have a conversation with this guy that she's now apparently marrying. But she's like, there's nothing she wants to try and wrangle out of this. She knows that at least this isn't the time. This is not. She's thanking for an offer, but she knows this is a command. So she's gonna bide her time in seeing what she can get in exchange out of this for a little bit later down the line, and maybe off of dear potential future husband, not the princess, because that would be stupid. She's stupid. She's not that stupid. Like, she does occasionally listen to her mother when she talks.
Okay. So your action then, you would like to perhaps go for... We're going to run through this because it's the first time we've done an intrigue in a long time, so it might be a little slow, sorry, for folks at home. Do you like to then go for like a yield where you accept the offer, but later down the line, there might be more?
No, I do have a thought.
Oh.
I do have a thought, actually. I think yield is the thing that makes sense mechanically, but Nyla will ask the princess, since you have been so kind to bestow such an honor upon me, would it be insulting for me to ask if you would give us the great honor of attending our wedding as our guest of honor?
And she smiles very widely at this, and there's like that hint of childish sort of like excitement. You know, she's this is like an invitation that she hasn't forced on someone else, or her mother has forced on someone else. So she smiles. I would like that very much.
And you honor me again, my princess. That's the thing that I think Nyla's like realized that she might be able to push for is, if we're going to do this, let's have... There's a little bit of her mother's political thing in here in the back of her head being like, invite the princess. She is young. She will come. She is heir to Nymeria's throne. This is good alliance making, potentially.
And perhaps if the timing is right, I could bring my mother or my sister.
You would be welcome to bring anybody that you wish, my princess. If they would also do us the honor and would like to attend, we of course would not say no.
And she smiles. And her chaperone behind her, Lord Dolt, kind of... and he does say very quietly, your mother is very busy, my lady, my princess. And the princess sort of looks at him. She's like, wait, very well. I suppose I should return to the party.
Of course. I hope you continue to enjoy it. The music and dancing tends to get better as the night goes on.
So I hear. And so she stands, the chaperone behind her, sort of, follows behind her in her step, and she nods to Santagar and to you and to your mother. And she just leaves the room, leaving the three of you in here.
And I think this is where Nyla just lets out actually sits back in the chair for the first time in this entire conversation. Lord Duran, it seems that our meeting earlier was serendipitous to this conversation.
I confess that I already knew.
Oh, well. And I think she finally reaches back and puts her hand on top of her mother's on her shoulder. Would you perhaps like to walk some of the grounds? I feel like we should probably have a conversation if we are going to be married.
He nods and smiles and he says, and he looks not at you, but he looks at your mother. If that's all right with you, my lady. And she looks at him and she smiles, she gives him that polite smile. She says, very well, but Nyla's chaperone will be close by. And she gives him that look of like, don't fucking, I know what young men are like.
Give me a moment with my mother, please.
And he nods and leaves the room.
And that's when she turns around and she's like, is chaperone? Really? You do not trust me that much?
No.
Could I at least have Sir Garamond?
Have you not put that old knight through enough, Nyla?
He loves me, really.
So do I, but the gods test me every single day.
At least you know that I cannot slip away from Sir Garamond. I can give most of our household guard the runaround.
Don't think I didn't see what you did to your window.
My window?
Don't play coy with me, Nyla. I know that's how you get out of your room.
There are many ways that I can get out of my room. That window is just one of them.
Godspeed, good. You...
I am sorry that I disappeared. I am sorry that I came back late. I am. I do not try to embarrass you. I did good here. I have accepted a wedding. I did not fight back against a command. I even invited the princess to continue to further relations.
And she blinks, she looks at you. She looks over you.
I know that I am hot-blooded and foolish and I like to fight, but I do care. I try. I was trained to fight, not to do this.
She takes your face in her hand and she leans forward. She kisses your forehead. Nyla, you're my firstborn and my first love. You are far, far too much like me. I need you to be better than I am.
I cannot help it. I have your fire and your confidence and father's skill with a sword. What did you think was going to happen when the two came together?
I don't know.
I am trying. I promise I am trying.
I know. And she brushes her thumb against your cheek. I know you're trying. But it kind of stills for a moment, and the pressure's a little harder. But you need to try harder. No more midnight excursions. No more visits to the pillow house. You are betrothed now. If you are found in the midst of passion with a peasant girl, then it is all over.
No.
For you, for your sister, for your brother, for me, for this house. What you do now shapes our family for generations to come.
I know. It just frustrates me. My husband could do all of that. No one would bat an eyelid. And I would have to sit there and suffer it in silence. It is hard. You have had many years to practice this. I went from being told that I could be as much as any man, and then as soon as I am old enough to wed, everything I do is a stain upon my reputation, but somehow a mark of victory for them.
Nyla, do you know what I did back home? Do you know what my profession was?
I assume that Nyla does, but she'll not say anything for the purpose of her mother telling this. She gets this at a time where, like, it doesn't matter if the answer is yes. She just stands there.
I was a weaver. I made clothes. And then the dragons came. And my weavery was burned. And my house was burned. And I carried you and your sisters into the river, into those boats. And everything that happened after that, everything I did, every drop of blood I spilled and shed, was to build something for you and your siblings. I married your father not out of love. I married your father out of duty. I was lucky. He was a good man, a kind man, a very caring man. I stopped being Soraya the day those flames came. I put aside myself, my happiness, for you. It is your turn now to do that for those that come after you.
I am trying. I train hard in the yard so that I might protect this house and the people in it and the people that I care about. I am good at that. I know how to do that. I'm just trying to learn how to be good at the rest of it.
If you promise to me, if you show to me that you want to be good at the rest of it, if you want to change, if you want to be a leader of this house, then I will be behind you every step of the way.
I want to be a leader of this house in the way that us Rhoynar women are leaders. Not like the women that Sir Garamond talks about up north. Quiet and peaceful. And sit back with their mouths shut and their eyes shut.
And again, she takes your face in both her hands. She says, Micah, you could never be both of those. You could never be a quiet, submissive girl, and that's not what I want for you.
Then I promise you I will try.
Good.
She kind of gives her mother a little hug in this rare moment where they're not screaming at each
Yeah.
other.
And she hugs
Now,
you back.
I will go and find Sir Garamond. And I promise you I will not try to slip away or disappear or do anything untoward with my dear betrothed.
Good. And then she sort of smiles and pulls back. She says, because if you try any of that, you have a younger sister. You can be replaced.
If I am honest, I'm kind of worried that he might prefer Elara to me.
Well, and she smooths your hair. That's a problem for a later time. Go. Don't keep him waiting.
She kind of gives her mother a smile, like she's genuinely a bit pleased and excited about this whole prospect, and like squeezes her hand a little bit. I really am sorry about last night. And then just awkwardly leaves. Just gets in that like last little apology before, while she's like, Mum has forgotten exactly how bad last night was. So like drop the apology in and then leave, and then she can't say anything else, so we can consider the matter done with.
So you head out, and you know, Darren is stood there waiting for you. And Sir Garamond, you are summoned to chaperone, not close enough that you can overhear them, But, keep a respectable distance. Make sure they don't get up to any shenanigans.
I like Nyla, just as Sir Garamond comes up, is like, I have promised Mother that I will for once behave, so.
Oh, that is good for me, my lady.
She just gives him like a really awkward smile, like, I know this sounds like a lie, but I mean it.
I look forward to seeing it.
Do not get used to it. And then turns back to Lord Darren. The gardens are quite pretty, and now the heat has cooled off. It should not be too bad.
He offers an arm.
And she takes it.
He says, well, I would be honored for you to show me them.
I fear that I will be better at telling you which of the planters I have chipped and hit with swords than which types of flowers are in them.
Well, I can't say that I have ever really been too interested in botany anyway.
Oh, good, because neither have I.
And he walks for a moment, and it's kind of like that awkward, quiet. So, how do you feel?
It is a great honor. I confess, I do not know you or your house incredibly well, but it is not every day that the princess commands you to marry.
No, and I must confess, when I got the raven at my home, I was somewhat alarmed. I had all these images. My older brother told me, what if she's a three-eyed mutant of a toad creature? And I must say, I was very relieved when I arrived.
I'm grateful that the gods bestowed some beauty upon me, although I think most of that went to my sister, if I'm honest. But I was blessed to be graceful in other ways.
And he turns you, and a little over familiar, he puts like his knuckle like under your chin into the moonlight.
He lets him.
I think the gods did a good enough job.
Well, they tried at least.
And then he stops and he says, Now listen, Lady Nyla. If you are to be my wife, I can't hear you say these things about you. I'm not going to have anyone say that my wife is less than perfect.
Oh, you see, do not mistake me. I am allowed to take the time less than perfect, but I would happily cut out the tongue of anybody else who said it.
Oh, a woman with fire.
I hope you do not mind a wife that fights.
And there's like a real like filthy look that crosses his face for a second. Before he like catches himself and he sort of like rubs at his chin, and he's got like very light stubble, he's got that fuckboy stubble, very designer, God. Like very like, he's there in the mirror with his fucking dagger, like just making sure it's just right. He rubs his chin. I think I like that.
She catches that kind of look that he gives her beforehand. It's like, be careful, sir. Sir Garamond is not the only one here who would put you on your ass for comments like that. And she kind of gives him a cheeky smile.
And he looks, well, what if I'd like that?
Well, then I suppose I would have to put you on your ass, but you can't let me win. I only fight fair. Perhaps you should come down to the training yards in the morning. See if you still want me to put you on your ass after you see what I do to other people.
And he looks over your shoulder to Garamond and he says, are you sure that your noble knight over there won't run me through with his sword if I tried such a thing?
I don't think so. Although I will admit, Sir Garamond is a good fighter. He's put me on my ass more times than I can count.
So it is possible.
Yes. That being said, most of that happened while he was training me to fight Westerosi style. With a bastard sword and shield. heavier armor, which is harder to do in this sun, even for me. With this, and she taps the Bravosi blade at her side, a little bit harder.
That's a toothpick.
Perhaps. But it still stabs and cuts the same as any other blade.
He's all like, I want to just get across, like, how kind of gross this guy is. Just, and he sort of, like, licks his lips a little bit. All right. Tomorrow in the training yard, then.
I look forward to it.
I want to hear the... Just looked at chat. Sorry. I want to see that none of this is bravado and that the woman I'm going to marry is worthy.
Of course. She takes his arm again and then inanely points out somewhere where she definitely has probably badly chipped a planter, like messing around with a sword inappropriately with one of the guards or anyone that she could convince to fight with her, because that's exactly what young Nyla would be like. And then she will recount the story of her and Alara jumping over the table to get back to the palace that morning.
He finds that whole story very funny. And he says, I can only imagine the faces of the small folk.
I do not think that they were very pleased, to be honest.
Why?
Engines are not always good around here between the Dornish and the Rhoynar.
How so?
It's just what I hear rumors of, things my mother talks about.
I wonder why we have none of these problems in Santagar.
Well, I can understand in some way. We came over and spread across Dorne, started taking order. Things will change with time.
Hey, the city of Spotswood was nothing before we arrived.
Well, put the Rhoynar by water, even it is not Mother Royan, and it will flourish.
That's true enough. Are you much of a sailor?
I can't say that I am, no. I have been out to the lighthouse a few times. I can swim a bit, but...
Well, we'll have to change that. Come.
I should hope so.
And he sort of pets your hand through his arm. And he leads you back to the Great Hall. Before he does so, though, he pauses before the door. One more question, and I don't want this to come across as rude or invasive, or if it's none of my business, feel free to tell me so, but if I dance again with your sister, is that going to be a problem?
Not at all. She is my sister, and she likes dancing. It would make her very happy. Unless, of course, you are planning to also propose to my sister and catch us in some terrible tangled web of affairs.
Oh, good God, no. I think one of you is going to be too much to handle as it is.
That you are right, yes. But perhaps before you dance with my sister again, I might have some time to break the news to her.
Of course.
I love her very dearly, and she is the person I am closest to.
Well, one day when we are family, I hope to share that sentiment too.
Perhaps it would do you some good to talk to my brother, too, once things are announced officially. He has been long missing other men in his life aside from Sir Garamond after my father passed.
I heard. I am sorry about your father.
It is war. People die.
Well, hopefully someday soon Nymeria will bring that bastard Ironwood to his knees.
I'm sure it will only be a matter of time. Please, wine, dancing. I will talk to my sister, and then I can show you how terrible I am on the dance floor compared to her.
And he takes your hand and he kisses the back of your hand before he lets you go.
And she, as soon as he walks away, she is a little bit excited. Like, she's not, like, in love with this dude, but he seems a bit smarmy. But aside from that, like, it could be way worse. She understands that this could be a way worse match, way worse person to be betrothed to.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of looks at Sir Garamond. Just kind of gives him a look. Like, did not expect to be getting married.
Well, milady, surely you expected to eventually get married.
Eventually, yes, but I did not expect a proposal tonight, unless coming as a command from Nymeria herself.
No.
Do me a
Was
favor.
that? Hmm.
When you go back to my mother, could you please just tell her how proper and decent and good I was, and I didn't try to run off or murder him in the gardens?
I'll inform your mother that you behaved fitting to the heir of the house.
Mm. Thank you. I've also noticed that there are a lot of people around in very nice-looking armor. Perhaps you could see if any of them would like to come to the training yards tomorrow. I have maybe promised to put on a small spectacle.
I will do what I can, milady. I will
Just
ensure that everyone knows that we will have an early training session and that all are available to arrive.
it would seem silly not to train with new fighters and new styles while they are here, and maybe get a closer look at some of the weapons that they are wielding. And she's immediately got that, like, I've seen shiny things.
Yeah,
Look
yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
shiny things with me.
Aye, milady. We shall see what comes tomorrow.
Mm. She gives him a smile and, like, pats him on the arm. Thank you.
And
We'll...
congratulations, milady.
Thank you. And then she'll go and find Ilara.
And
Alara.
Garamond will head back to
Oh, sorry, Tom.
and head back to his position, you know.
Alara, where are you when Nyla finds you?
I think she's probably still been dancing with whoever is still there.
Nyla is immediately doing the thing that is, like, not proper and, like, waiting. She's kind of standing on the side going, Ilara, sister.
Come
She's got that
on!
look like, I want to tell you something. No, come.
Ugh.
Please.
She'll break off halfway through the dance with whichever partner she's with at that point.
Nyla takes your hand and just, like, almost, like, marches you
Yeah, just
out,
like,
like, one of the
"Whoop."
side corridors where, like, there isn't really anybody around, and, like, pulls around the corner. I just spoke with the princess.
Oh, how did that go? Did you have more luck than our brother?
I think so. Apparently, Princess Nymeria has commanded that I should marry Lord Daran.
Princess has.
Yes. Nymeria herself has commanded the betrothal. Of course, I cannot say no.
Why would you want to say no?
He seems okay. I thought he was more
Oh,
interested in you, to be honest, but apparently he already
who
knew.
gives a shit who's interested in a princess? Says marry, you marry.
And I may have taken the heat a little bit from Mother by not being an asshole, and also inviting the princess to be guest of honor at the wedding.
Oh,
It seemed like a
that is
smart move.
clever. Well done.
Although I feel like my dear betrothed would like to dance with you again.
You can dance with me. That's all he will be doing.
But yeah, that is the news. I'm sure your own betrothal will be not so far behind. But
Oh,
apparently this means I
God.
have to give up.
She'll just like grab wine from any passing servant. Just like, why must you curse me?
Apparently this means I have to stop sleeping with fishermen's daughters and visiting pillow houses.
Who's.
So
Well, the men can do it and we cannot.
apparently so. So I'm sure there are ways
Everybody
around
does
that.
it. No. Plays around.
I was thinking more like just telling him and seeing how he went with that. You know what men are like.
If you wish. Or just ask for forgiveness rather than permission.
Well, I may have also kind of agreed to put on a display in the training yard tomorrow because apparently my ego knows no bounds. So.
Oh, you shock me.
But then, like, immediately she drops it and she just squeezes your hands and it's like, but I guess I am getting married.
Congratulations. I am glad that this is news you are happy about.
I shall talk to mother about your betrothal. Did you see anyone you liked out there?
She'll go to throw the wine in her face and then be like, mm-mm.
If you're going to do that, at least wait until afterwards. So that
I'll wait until your wedding day. Push me. See how it goes.
If you do not cause some kind of spectacle at my wedding, I will be disappointed, sister.
Oh.
I've been doing it my entire life. Why stop now? But like, she's like Nyla is like an excited schoolgirl, not like in love and stuff, but excited about the prospect of a wedding and a really high-profile wedding. And it's like, let's dance. Let's go dance, please, 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 please.
All right, and I will think of the gift I will give you for your wedding, something suitably distracting and.
Oh, if you make it shiny and belated, I will be happy.
Oh, you want 2 gifts? You want me to make a scene and give you a present?
You are my only sister. Yes, of course.
All right. You asked for it.
She'll go back dancing with Alara until she can find Darren again. The whole time she's trying to watch what Alara is doing so that she can maybe have a hope of not looking awful on the dance floor.
Oh, she will absolutely. If she spots that Darren is watching them, she will make a point of making her the focus of this dance and making it very elegant, spinning her around a lot. Just occasionally, just like doing a little whoop, oh, whoop.
The problem is not that Nyla isn't elegant, it's that she's used to doing acrobatics while fighting. So she's very heavy-footed on everything. Like, it's graceful, but in a really kind of stompy way, as opposed to like
aggressive dancing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you two, you dance the night away, twirling around. Alara doing her best to make Nyla look spectacular as ever. But while you're busy dancing, the camera pans to Lord Darren, and it is very clear from his expression he has not seen Nyla on that floor. His eyes have been on Alara the whole time. And that is where we end our session.
Drama.
I understand now how Sam was like when she played skeezy characters on ATF. I'm like, afterwards, I'm like, oh, I need a shower. But thank you, friends, for joining us for another episode of Blood and Sand. Yeah, I feel a little ill after playing Lord Darren. That's gross. What a gross man. Anyway, speaking of gross men, Tom isn't one. Hi, Tom.
What an egg. I was going to be offended then. Well, I think we're all in agreement here and chat that fuckboy needs to die first. Training swords are very hard wood. So, one good crack against the back of the skull should do it. So just a heads up, everyone doing the training in the morning. Just so you know that. Garamond can look the other way. It's all good. It's great. It's great. This was an actual happy dinner where nothing bad happened, apart from gross fuckboy. But apart from that, it actually was a good dinner. It was a good party. Things, it was nice. Makes me suspicious. Makes me very worried that something is coming around the corner.
I'm here to break the Game of Thrones curse. We can have a nice dinner.
Yeah. It was great. I loved it. I loved every single bit of that. It was great. It was a lot of talk and a lot of role play, but a lot was explained. There was a lot of like hidden backstory in that and the current state of things and relationships and everything. Basically, it just progressed the whole house even further, and I loved it. It was great. It was so much great. Yeah, that's me. I don't really do much anymore, so
You got nothing to plug, nothing to shout.
no, not really. Not. I might stream on Sunday, but even not really.
You gotta go
I'm
follow Tom, Hotflex Tom on Twitch.
Yeah, you can do that, and Twitter if you want to, really. But yeah.
Highly recommend following Tom on Twitter. Easiest man in Wales. Tally running champion 205 AC. Look for that in the bio. You found him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom. Sigaramond is lovely. I love him to bits, and I'm gonna feel awful when I do something truly terrible to him. It's coming. It is coming.
I know. It's why we play the game, right?
Yeah.
It's why we play this game. It's not for the win and happy things. This isn't D&D, folks. This is just
This ain't your
awful.
mum's D&D.
No,
this is Game of Thrones.
This is where you create a character and you know something bad is going to happen to them, like truly awful. And you kind of like create the character with that in mind, you know? And I decided to make a older fighter, which is probably not wise. So yeah, it's I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun. It'll be fun for when he dies and I have to make another character.
Yeah. Speaking of unwise, hi Millie. You all right?
Hi. Hello. I don't know what you're talking about. I made a lot of very good decisions tonight.
Yeah.
You know, being born second was definitely my choice.
Yeah. That was a good call.
Narrowly avoided that. Whatever that is. Enjoy. Glad that weddings are something that you aspire to. I hope I don't have one inflicted anywhere near me.
No,
Lara
God,
does not give one single shit. But yeah, I think we've all learned that sometimes gross fuckboys happen, and we may soon learn that dance floors are really slippy.
I mean, you know, wine's going everywhere. It's so slippy.
Yeah.
Bit of chicken, you know.
Yeah. But we'll wait till like after the wedding so you can inherit all his stuff. Like,
I mean,
maybe get a baby in you first and then slipping.
Lock the house down.
Yeah. Lock that down and then I'll lure him and make. No, don't know. No, that's you know when your brain just goes, no, that sentence needs to be censored.
Yes.
Yeah.
Been there. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. 100%. I'm sure Darren's big brother would have something to say about stealing his house, but you know, you can try.
Is Darren's big brother a gross fuckboy, or is he the good one?
He didn't exist until about 15 minutes ago, so I couldn't tell you.
Cool. First child, second child. Like maybe there's a psychological thing there.
It would be really fitting to have my character have 2 weddings at this point. There seems to be a trend here.
Do you know what? I realized I was like, oh my god, fucking season 1 of ATF had V getting married, and I've done it to her again.
So like season 5 is the point where we should bump this husband off so I can marry his brother, right?
Yeah.
And my character has got a flirt on with a dancer again.
Oh my god.
ATFing.
I'm just plagiarizing Sam live on the internet.
Enzo.
He
fuckboy
is.
Enzo. As if Enzo wasn't enough of a fuckboy.
He's dark side Enzo.
Ugh. No.
He's blonde too.
This is important. Is he mechanically attractive?
He's not mechanically attractive, but he is very
not
attractive. Okay.
No.
He doesn't care. As long as he's
gotta
not
have mechanically attractive, otherwise no.
All right. I mean, to be fair, I haven't made his character sheet yet, so it could be anything. Tune in next time, he'll be mechanically attractive.
Might want to hold off on rolling that up just in case. You know, might not be here for long. Depends how gross he is.
We'll see. But thank you very much, Millie, for joining us today. I love Alada so much. You're all trash though, fucking stomping over the small folk.
Yeah.
Who already hate you.
I feel so much guilt. Like I feel like I'm watching myself from like an otherworldly, slightly behind my head and up. Just like, no. Yes.
I feel
I honestly don't know what they're complaining about. We didn't break anything.
too.
We didn't hurt anyone. We
Jumped
gave
a
them a nice
table.
show. I mean, what more do they want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a step up from last week when I whipped a dude.
Yeah, you tell those ungrateful peasants. They should be more grateful.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
jumped
we
a table on a
didn't
horse.
whip
What's your
them
problem?
this
Yeah.
time. They should be grateful for
You
that.
tell that proletariat to go back to their hovels, to quit their bitching and enjoy their soup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Be grateful they have soup. Oh God, we're awful people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that was really good fun. That was so much fun.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I love Alara so much. And I'm looking forward
bearing
to.
with my. Sorry.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you for bearing with my wandering accent, because apparently my tongue was just like, no, mate, you've been too many people.
I went French for a really long time there during the session.
Close, right?
It's really close. Really close. And I can't do the rolled R, so it always comes out as like a French like R to me. So I'm like, well, fuck it. Dawn's a French now. Deal with it. But Millie, who are you? What you do?
That's a really good question today. I'm Amelia Tyler. I'm a voice actor for video games, and you might know me from some stuff. I don't stream at the moment. Planning to, might get around to it. Who knows? But until then, you can find me over on Twitter, where I am moderately more active.
Hell yeah.
Here I am. Hi.
Go follow Millie, people. Go do it. Someone else who you should follow, because she's great and we love her. V!
Hi. This was so much fun. Was not expecting marriage proposal in this session. I had a feeling it would be coming at some point because heir to the house, that's kind of what happens. And all the way through I was like, oh no, this is just like season 1 of ATF all over again. What terrible thing am I going to do with this? I enjoyed the fact that it felt like a little bit that you thought I was going to fight this.
I honestly, I set her up for a fucking intrigue. I was like, all right, I'm going to have this 8-year-old child destroy Virginia in an intrigue. I was ready for it. Didn't happen. You were just like, yeah, okay. And I was like, what?
So you've already established, because I think I told you this, Susie. Nyla is like very, very, very gay. By gay, I mean she's incredibly bisexual, but also very gay. So like I feel like she's just kind of accepted that eventually she'd have to get married to a dude because that's what's done. But like that kind of bothers her less because she cares more about being romantically interested in women. So when it comes to dudes, she's like, has he got a good house? Like decent like lineage? Cool, okay. Does this work? Fine. Politically, it makes everyone happy. But also, you know, Nymeria's commanded it and she's like, okay, well I can't say no to this anyway, so I'm gonna say yes and just choose to be happy about it. Bonus points for getting the princess at the wedding, because that's future allies potentially.
Yeah.
You know, gotta get them while they're young to like you. Or you can still manipulate them.
No, it was a very, very good play. Very well done.
Yeah. So no, but this is fun. I like the fact that I feel like at some point, Alara and Garamond are gonna have a sit down and be like, so we've murdered your betrothed. Don't worry about it. I love Garamond's just constantly having to put up with everybody's shit, all of our shit, and he's just like, I am okay, whatever. Our brother being an idiot. Wonderful. And also it's just really nice to play a character who's not actively at odds with Millie. Like getting to play the two sisters who are clearly very close and an absolute pain in the ass together is so much fun.
I'm really enjoying that relationship, just and the fact that we haven't talked about it really out of character. It's just happening. I love that.
It's just it's the two thing of like, I'm getting the feeling that this poor dude's gonna have to deal with the fact that like being married to Nyla probably means also kind of being married to her sister, but maybe not in the way that he wants. Like the two of them are a weird pair of being a fucking pain.
Yeah, and I'm sure Mr. Darvo over there, Mr. Darvo Santagar, is not going to have anything to say about that and try and do anything. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's fine.
I mean, I'm sure it will be fine. I feel like if he tries to do skeezy shit, then someone's gonna, you know.
Well, that just makes it more fun.
my God.
He's going to get injured by somebody. I just don't know which of the three of us it's going to be.
Spoilers, in comes your mother with the chair.
We're just the distraction. It's like the velociraptors in Jurassic Park.
This is like dude fucked with the wrong house. And I love
Never
that. I
get.
really thought, Susie, that you and I were going to have one of our classic Susie
I know.
Virginias argue, and it didn't happen.
No.
Nyla actually felt a little bit bad for being shit, which I wasn't expecting. I'm sure it'll happen because it would be off brand if we didn't. But
yeah. But no, that was fantastic. V, you were incredible. I'm looking forward to see where Nyla ends up and what happens with the fella and her family. Because, accidents being as they are, they do happen. And I'm sure the various princesses across the realm will be really happy about that going on. But we'll see. We'll cross that. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
We've got to build the bridge first so that it's even worse when it burns.
Yeah, and then we squirt, gasoline on it, and then.
Yeah, like Tom said, we don't do this for happy things. We all build these characters and then basically look at Susie and go, how much emotional trauma can you do to us?
You know that meme that you see this car slaps roof of car? It's like you see this character, can fit so much trauma in there.
It's like we actively build these characters and play in ways, basically, and just beg Susie to just be like, just hurt us a bit more, please.
Right. Anyway, before we go on for another half an hour doing an impromptu, we're going to have to come up with another name. We can't call it After the Fire anymore if we do it. Chat, that's your job. Chat and Discord and YouTube. You have to, if you got this far on YouTube, you got to come up with new names for us, okay? That's your job. V, you didn't tell us who you are and what you do.
Oh, I'm V. I make tabletop RPGs. I basically do anything and everything between things being made and things being sent out to ship. So if you're specifically looking for graphic design or editing for your TTRPG related things, or just other related things, because it turns out graphic design is fairly universal, I'm the person. I am not posting on Twitter a lot right now because I am in adulting purgatory between work and figuring out how moving out of my parents works. But eventually I'll post on there when I have something interesting to show, but otherwise you can just find me here on Thursdays playing my new disaster child.
All right, well, thank you very much, V. Appreciate it. As for me, I am Susie. Hello, everybody. Hi. I've been here GMing this whole time. I know I was different people during the whole session. It's it's fine. It's actually me. I do stuff on the internet. I do a lot of streaming. I play cowboys. I play deputy a lot of the time, a lot of the week in West Elizabeth in Red Dead Redemption 2. All I do is train recruits at the minute. I'm just the boss lady, and they all call me mom, and it's weird. And I'm like, don't do that, and they still do it. So that's what I do during the week. And then when I'm not doing that, I'm an illustrator. So I paint stuff, and the stuff coming up real soon, I hope, that has my stuff in it. When that comes out, I can tell you what it is, but right now I can't. But here, in general, as a conglomerate, we are Black Cats Gaming. We make tabletop games, which you can buy at blackcatsgamingshop.com. As well as on DriveThruRPG. Right now, we have Cursed Captains of Cthulhu, which if you haven't yet backed, you can still back in a late pledge in that link in chat. Right there, you can do that. It's got piracy in it. It's got Cthulhu in it. There's rules for sailing ships and shooting cannons and shit. You want it. It's good. Back it. Other than that, you can catch us across social medias at Follow Black Cats on Twitter. You can catch us at Black Cats Gaming on Facebook, as well as on YouTube. And we do have a Discord somewhere. I don't have the Discord link right now, but we do have a Discord. So if you're not already in the Discord, get in it and come talk to us about stuff. We have channels for this game. We have channels for the spy game. We have channels for everything. So come on down. And I turn into an American salesperson there at the end. But before I ramble anymore with one of my classic Susie outros, TM, I will say goodbye, everybody. Have a fantastic week, and we will see you next week for the next episode of Blood on the Sand.